everyone, I'm Allie Buckman here with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to do another video for you today from the 2016 Potomac Bead Company Challenge. This one here is by Linda Skander, and this is the Miner's Gem. So I have the beads kind of laid out because I've been doing a lot of these challenges as a challenge for me as well while creating the video, to just kind of do it as I actually do the video, so that way I can show you guys it in the works. And for the colors for this Miner's Gem, which focuses primarily on these three types of the two-holed beads, we have crescent beads, and for the crescent beads you're going to be using about 14 crescents. I also have my disc duos and my round duos. You're using 14 of each of those as well. For the bracelet, if you need any of these materials, we'll drop down a little list here on the left-hand side with links to all of them to purchase from me online, or you can go to your local Potomac Bead Company store and purchase there as well. For the bracelet, I am going to be using, for my disc duo, I am using this pretty crystal golden touch sky color. Kind of went with an oceany beach theme in my colors here. Again, using 14 of those disc duos. For my round duos, I haven't played much with some of the metallic colors. This is metallic gold. It's an orangey golden color, and it looks really nice with the finish on that golden touch disc duo. For my crescent here, I'm using the Pacifica poppy seed, which is kind of a muted green blue to tie it all together. And then I've decided with my seed beads, we're going to go bright and kind of make it pop. This is one of the new Duracoat Opaques, and this is the Duracoat Opaque Nile Blue. It's an 11-0 Miyuki seed bead. Down the sides of the bracelet, we have some PC rondelles, and the Potomac Crystal rondelles, where I'm going to use our Crystal AB for this bracelet here, just to kind of add a little brightness to it. To hold it all and to end it all, we are using a cup button, and I'm using the matte Crystal AB cup button right here to hold the whole thing together. This is a 2-needle project, so I have 2 needles that I'm using, 2 size 10 beading needles with some 0.006 white beading thread. I've chosen the white because I am using the crystals, so I don't want to see too much thread going through it, so I've chosen to use the white color for that. I am working on a bead on it board, or if you want to work on your bead mat, it gives you a nice working surface. I have close to me some super new glue that if you want to kind of knot down the ends, you can do that. And then a Thread Zap 2 thread burner to burn down the ends of the thread and to help you to cut your thread and needle. We're going to go ahead and get started with all of our 2-hole beads and our seed beads, so you can put the crystals aside for now, and we'll get started with our cup button. So to get started, I have my 2 beading needles on about 5 feet of beading thread, 1 on each end of the thread. Adding to my thread and needles 3 of my 11-0 seed beads, and I'm going to let them drop down to the base of the thread. I'm going to put on my cup button through the bowl side of the cup button, with 1 needle going through one hole of the button and 1 needle going through the other hole. Letting those down then, that's going to create just a little bit of a trim there and a little bit of a blue color in the middle of my crystal cup button. From there, separating my needles, put on 2 of your 11-0s on each needle, 1 on the left and 1 on the right. Then I'm going to pick up 1 of my 11-0 seed beads, and I'm going to put it on 1 needle, let it drop down a little bit, and then pick up the other needle and go through that same seed bead in the same direction. Once through that seed bead, push it down towards the cup button, and that's going to create a little V there behind the cup button. After that, we're going to separate the needles. Put 2 11-0s on either needle, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. And now we get to go into our very simple pattern down the center of the bracelet. Down the center of the bracelet, we're going to be forming a little diamond shape with our round duos and our disc duos. In between each bead, we're also going to put a seed bead. So the round duos, we're going to be putting our needles through both holes. one through the right, and then one through the left. After you exit the round duos, we're going to separate the needles, put on a seed bead, a disc duo, and a seed bead on the right, a seed bead, disc duo, and a seed bead on the left. Let that all drop down, and then take another round duo and put one of the needles through the hole on the right and one through the hole on the left. That's going to form our little triangular base of the bracelet. To add the crescents in, we're going to add 2 in a row, an 11-0 on either needle, and then just like the round duo, we're going to put 1 needle through each hole of the crescent with the arch facing up and that little half moon shape facing down. After the crescents, an 11-0 on each again, and then another crescent. 1 going through right side and 1 needle going through the left. This simple pattern is the whole base of the bracelet. So we're going to do this till we have 7 groupings of our diamond, 6 groupings of our crescent beads. So I'm going to repeat now, starting out with our round duo, and I'm just going to work with 1 needle at a time, and I'll show you how I go back and add the other needle. So I have on my round duo, my disc duo, my round duo, all separated by a seed bead. That's on my left hand needle. I'm now going to pick up the right hand needle, put on a seed bead, go through the other hole of the round duo bead, put on a seed bead and another disc duo, another seed bead, and go through the round duo. After the round duo, give a little pull, put on my 11-0 here on the side, and then I'm going to add in my 2 crescents. Again, the crescents are facing downward. Put on a crescent, an 11-0, a crescent, and I'm doing this right now with my right needle, and an 11-0. And then I'll pick up the left needle and repeat that. Picking up a crescent, adding an 11, and going through the other hole of the crescent. And then adding the 11. So there's 2 out of our 7 groupings of our round duo. We're going to continue this pattern the whole way down till we get to the 7th and final triangle or diamond shape here, ending with our round duo bead. At the end, then we'll put on a loop and we'll come back and decorate the rest of this miner's gem. After you're finished coming through the last of your round duo, you're actually going to be finished with the round duos and the disc duos. We're coming back through to add the crystals, but before we need to do that, we need to make a loop to go at the end to add on to our cup button here. To do so, I already have, to get that same V pattern, and an 11-0, 2 on my right thread and 2 on my left thread. I'm going to add another 11-0 going through both needles in the same direction, which will bring the ends into a V shape here. From there, I'll add about 27 beads to make my loop for my cup button. So I have my beads on there. I'm just going to pick my left needle or my right needle, it doesn't really matter which one, and add on a bunch of beads. We will then reinforce it with the strand that I didn't pick up first. So with this one here, I'm just going to add a bunch of seed beads on. And we are going to be going back down the bracelet and coming back down to this end again. So we will have the opportunity to reinforce it yet one more time. I'm going to put all these beads on here. And once I have all of these on, I'm going to switch from this right needle, go back through that 11-0 that we joined, and then my needle is going to come down the opposite side of my round duo. To reinforce this loop that I've created, I'm going to go through those same beads with my other needle, coming back down and exiting the other side of my 11-0 seed beads. Having reinforced that thread, my needles are now on opposite sides, coming out those last two seed beads before my round duo bead. Coming down the right and left side now, it's a very simple pattern of 11, crystal, 11, and through that empty hole of my round duo bead, or my disc duo bead rather. When I come out the disc duo, I add another 11, crystal, 11, and I'm going to sew into this grouping of 5 here. That 11-0 seed bead, the crescents, 11, crescent, 11, and out. Once I'm out then, I add my 11-0, crystal, 11-0, and sew through my disc duo. Coming out of the disc duo, again, 11, crystal, 11, and sew through those middle 5 beads. I'm going to do this the whole way down this right side and the left side, doing about 4 at a time or 3 at a time, and then switching over to the other side so my tension remains about the same. I'm just going to simply add that grouping of 3 beads, sew through my disc duo, and add them on the other side. So I'm coming down the right hand side doing this, and I'm also going to go down the left hand side adding in those crystals. So at the end of the bracelet, as you're adding your 11, crystal 11, I'm going to take this opportunity then to go through those 2 beads leading up to the V, that seed bead that both strands go through, those 2 beads leading up to the cup button, and then out through the top of the cup button, and reinforce that cup button. Going down through the other side here and out through the other end. As much as possible when I'm reinforcing an end and going through a cup button, because of that dome shape, I try to get through those seed beads while I'm doing it. Once I'm through there, going back through that 11-0 again, and then out to the side of those 2 beads, just like we did on the other end as well. Picking up the other side here, I'm going to go back up those 2, go through the center, and reinforce yet again. Go through the cup button again, out through the top there, down the side, and this time down the opposite side. When I come out this time, I'm going to go through all of my 11s there, as well as then out my 11, crystal 11. This last pass that I'm doing is just going to be used to decorate the top of the disc duo. So I'm going to be coming out of my beads, just running along that line and popping out right after my 11-0 and decorating then with some more 11-0s. You could use 15-0s, 11-0s. I've got a lot of that blue color going, so I've actually decided to get some of the crystal Labrador seed beads out just to add a different color. I was going to do it all in blue, but it's a really bright blue. So I'm going to add in 5 of my Crystal Lab 11-0s. Then sew through the 11, Crystal 11, and you can see it just then kind of finishes it off and really adds that nice touch to the end. Sewing through the project again. Sewing through that whole outer edge. When I get out the outer edge here, I add on 5 of my seed beads and sew through. If you wanted to, you could have added these when you were coming out the round duo here, circling around and adding them as well, if you don't want to retrace through the whole project. And this is kind of the easiest way to explain it. It's just to add those little seed beads there on the edge to give that outer end. Again, 5 more get added on this side, and I retrace through my thread the whole way on this side. You can see now it gives it a nice, perfectly bezeled little end there. I'm going to continue up the bracelet, adding my 5 11/0s right on the outside edge of that round duo, the whole way along those 7 groupings of my round duo disc duo. Once you come down either side, adding in your little 11/0 seed beads there, you want to get to the end here and reinforce your loop with one of your strands. Let the other strand hang out right here on the end. When you simply get to the bottom of that 11/0 seed bead where it's joined to make the V, you're just going to take the needles off the end and tie your thread ends into a knot. The nice thing with these 2 needle projects are that you're mimicking both the right and the left needle, and also because of putting on the clasp right as you do it, you get the bracelet completely done and you don't have to go back and add the clasp. It's already on there for you, and you get the opportunity with a lot of 2 needle projects to come up and back the project so you can actually go in and reinforce the loops that you've created. Once you have that tied knot, you can see I flipped it over to the back of the project to try to bring the knot to the back a little bit. Go ahead and do a little dab of glue. Let that dry, and then you can go in with your thread burner and burn off the ends of the thread. Let that dry for a couple seconds, and once it's dry, you have your bracelet completed. I usually take it off the beadboard to dry a little bit so I don't get it stuck to the beadboard. You can see it's a really pretty yet simple design using the round duos and the disc duos and popping in those new crescent colors as well. Again, it's about 7 1/4 inch bracelet by the time you add in these 7 little triangle or these 7 little diamond shapes that you're doing. If you do need it to be a little bit longer, you can go ahead and add some crescents on the end to get your extra length. Sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly what to add on the ends in order to get a length, but that would be your answer there. If you wanted to, you could change up the colors, really change up the size as well. The nice thing, this is a nice simple design, easy to make, yet really fun and nice looking with no thread showing. The fit is perfect. So I really commend Linda for that it really is a perfect fit with the exact spacing. I didn't have to do anything to the bracelet in order to make it so I can't see thread or anything. It's exactly what it is. So thanks a lot for watching. Again, if you need any of these materials, you can go back to the beginning of the video, or you can go down right underneath here to the description and the show more. Click on that and you'll get a link to all the different products that were used, the 11s, the disc duo, the round duo, and the crescents as well. If you want to watch more videos like these challenge videos, as well as original designs and product updates and product reviews, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel here. If you want to see the rest of the winners, you can go to PotomacBeads.com. You can also join our Facebook group, Beading and Jewelry Making. Post questions there, help other beaders out, decide what to use and which patterns are used, and how to do their bead weaving, how to do their wire working, and really just an array of different techniques. Again, if you get a chance, stop by one of our Potomac Bead Company locations. We'd love to see you there. And as always, have fun creating and enjoy making this bracelet here, the Linda Skander design of the Miner's Gem.